Okay, you know the feeling. You're in that big technical interview, all eyes are on you, and suddenly your mind just goes blank. It is the absolute worst. But what if I told you there's a completely different way to prepare? A way that could stop that from ever happening again. That's exactly what we're going to break down.
And yeah, that feeling? That's the enemy. It's not always about not knowing the answer. It's about the pressure making your brain just shut down. So let's tackle that one single hurdle, because overcoming it changes everything.
So what's the secret? Well, it is not about grinding through hundreds and hundreds of problems with no real plan. Honestly, that just makes things worse. The real key is having a smarter strategy, a roadmap that builds your skills one logical step at a time. It's all about intentional preparation, not just mindless practice.
And this is that roadmap. It's a simple three-part framework. First, you follow a structured path so you're not just jumping all over the place. Second, you learn how to deconstruct every single problem you see. And third, this is the magic. You build that knowledge into your memory using something called active recall. This is how you build real, earned confidence.
All right, let's dive into that first big idea, deconstructing the pattern. This is where the real learning starts. Instead of just looking at a problem and immediately trying to memorize the code, you take a step back. You break the problem down into its core pieces. And this is a huge mental shift. Seriously. We have to move past just knowing what the solution is and get to why it actually works. I mean, anyone can memorize a few lines of code, but can you explain why that code is the best possible way to solve the problem? That right there, that's the difference maker. To really get to that why, you have to start thinking in patterns. So what's a coding pattern? Just think of it like a blueprint. It's a high-level strategy you can reuse for a whole family of similar problems. Once you truly get the pattern, you haven't just learned to solve one problem, you've unlocked the ability to solve dozens you've never even seen before.
Think of this as your personal checklist for every single problem you study. You have to be able to answer these 4 questions. 1, what's the big picture strategy here? 2, what's that key aha moment or insight that makes it all click? 3, why is this pattern the best, most efficient choice? And 4, how does the code actually bring that logic to life? If you can nail these 4, you own it.
But okay, understanding is awesome, but it's only half the battle, right? Now you have to make sure you can access that knowledge when the pressure is on. And that brings us to the second, absolutely critical phase, turning what you know in your head into something that feels like instinct.
And this is the goal. We want the solution to become automatic. It shouldn't be something you have to dig around for in your brain. It should just appear. It becomes muscle memory, a true instinct.
So how do we get there? I can tell you how you don't get there, through passive learning. You know, just watching a video of someone else solving it or scrolling through code. It feels like you're learning, but it's a trap. The real power is in active recall. Instead of just consuming, you are constantly rebuilding, quizzing yourself, and forcing your brain to pull that information out. You stop hoping you'll remember and start knowing you will. And this is what that looks like in the real world. You don't just write the code once. You rebuild the logic step by step from scratch. You do little drills where you have to fill in the missing pieces. It's just like a musician practicing scales over and over. It's not about learning one song, it's about making the fundamentals so automatic that they're second nature.
Okay, so let's put it all together. We have this two-part system. First, deconstruct the problem to truly understand it, then use active recall to forge it into an instinct. Now, let's connect that all the way back to where we started, that awful feeling of freezing up in an interview. This entire system is designed specifically to destroy that feeling.
And at the end of the day, this is why this whole thing matters so much. The real prize isn't just a job offer, it's a fundamental shift in how you see yourself. You walk into that room with a deep, earned confidence that comes from knowing you haven't just memorized some answers, you've built a system for finding them.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. This isn't some random theory. This exact method is already being used by students from some of the best universities out there to land jobs at the biggest tech companies in the world. This is a proven path.
So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. The next time you sit down to study, ask yourself, am I just going through the motions here? Is this just practice? Or am I actually training my brain? Am I building that interview muscle? Because the difference between those two things, well, it could be everything.